All right, welcome back. We are doing legendaries now in the card valuation podcast stream VOD for the Lightforge tier list. This is Adwicta.
This is Burps. We're talking about legendaries where it doesn't really matter, but because people care about it, we're putting them all in one video. Woo!
20 plus legendaries. Let's go. We're doing a countdown from the worst to the best, but we also can only do it class by class. So we'll do each class from the worst to the best. And most classes only have 2 legendaries. So we'll just say the bad one and then the good one. All right.
Yes.
So first, neutrals. There's a bunch of legendaries and neutrals. The worst one with a score of 0. Again, no more absolute zeros in this algorithm. So 0 really just means it falls below a threshold that we just cut it off. And it is Yogg-Saron, Master of Fate, 10 mana, 7/5, Battlecry. If you've cast 10 spells this game, spin the Wheel of Yogg-Saron.
Good luck casting 10 spells.
Yep. You will not cast 10 spells. You will not spin the Wheel of Yogg-Saron. Sorry.
Basically. That's it.
Alright. Next up is Silas Darkmoon. Silas Darkmoon is a 7 mana 4/4 Battlecry. Choose a direction to rotate all minions, which is a terrible, terrible description that tells you nothing, and as a result, this is inputted into the algorithm wrong, so the score is not actually a 54. It's going to be significantly higher, but we don't know how much higher, because right now the algorithm does not think that it will do anything at all unless you have another minion on the board. So it does, and in reality, apparently, it will rotate itself. So it is effectively a crappy situational mind control, but it's 3 mana cheaper, but you give your opponents a 4/4 or potentially a smaller card if you have it. But your opponent can also just avoid the whole thing if they have 3 minions by keeping their best minion in the middle. So I don't know. I'm not a huge fan of this card.
I think it'll be more useful than you're giving it credit for. But I do want to see what score it comes out with once we run it again.
Yeah. Mind control is a 150, by the way, in Priest. So there's quite a bit of room for Silas to still be like above a 100 or something, even if it's worse than a mind control. All right. Next up is Y'Shaarj the Defiler. Y'Shaarj the Defiler is a 10 mana 10/10 Battlecry. Add a copy of each corrupted card you've played this game to your hand. They cost 0 this turn. So it's not just cards that could be corrupted, it's cards that have actually been corrupted. You're adding the corrupted version of the card into your hand, so it is the better version of the card. And they cost 0 this turn, which means you really need to play them this turn.
Yep. It's good, but once again, you're not going to be corrupting everything. And also, so number one, you won't have as many corrupted cards in your deck as you think you might. And second of all, you won't be able to corrupt all of them as well. So once again, a lot of things have to line up, but 126 is pretty good for a 10 mana 10/10 that it has a beneficial effect. That's where it's at.
Yep. You'll draft this sometimes. Next, we have Cthulhu the Shattered. 10 mana 6/6. Start of game, break into pieces. Battlecry, deal 30 damage randomly split among all enemies. It is a 201. It is a 201 because, hey, the pieces are pretty good.
The pieces are pretty good. So let's talk about exactly how this card works. At the start of the game, Cthulhu the Shattered, if it's in your deck, it breaks into pieces. So it breaks into 4 pieces. There are 4 spells. They all cost 5 mana each. One summons a 6/6 taunt. Another one deals 7 damage randomly split among all enemies. Another one deals 3 damage to all minions. And another one just destroys a minion, so aka assassinate. These are just shuffled randomly into your deck, so they're all at least above average cards. And then once you have played all of these cards, so once you've played all 4 pieces of Cthulhu, then Cthulhu the Shattered is shuffled into your deck. And then if you are able to draw Cthulhu the Shattered and play it, well, in Arena, that's just GG. Like, deal 30 damage split randomly amongst all enemies. That's just game over in 99.9% of all situations. So you're just shuffling pretty decent cards into your deck, and you're just shuffling this far away but like super guaranteed win condition.
Yeah, so in the same way, why, like, if you look at why all these 10 mana cards, like, not Cthulhu, obviously, because it's not a real card, but normally, like, high mana cards are, like, that are really good, are worth so many points now, it's because we're no longer doing it on a per mana basis. We're doing it on a full impact of a card basis. So imagine that each card that is being shuffled into your deck is worth about, let's say, 50 points more than the normal cards you would have, like, say, a Yeti or something. Well, in that case, you're going, and let's say you end up drawing 3 of them. Well, then you've gotten 150 points more value over the course of the game because of your split pieces. I'm not giving real numbers here. I don't know what the real numbers are, but if you're wondering how you end up with a score like this, that's kind of how. The pieces are good. But this is basically judging you adding 4 good cards into your deck and how much that is worth in a draft. Adding 4 good cards into your deck is probably worth more than adding 1 good card into your deck, right? In fact, it's probably worth 4 times as much as adding 1 good card into your deck.
Yep. So the worst card is the 5 mana deal 7 damage randomly to all enemies. That's not a good card. But the other ones, deal 3 damage to all minions. That's good, right? That's like, we've seen that in Excavated Evil. Assassinate is good. Mm-hmm. Like, it's not amazing, but it's good. 5 mana for a 6/6 taunt. That's really good. That's actually really good. So yeah, you're shuffling good things that you want to play into your deck. And we recognize the fact that you're not going to reach Cthulhu super often. You're just not, right? But yeah, shuffling those cards into your deck is not a bad thing.
Keep in mind, it's no one's saying that the average card that you're shuffling into your deck is worth 200. The average card that's being shuffled in your deck is probably worth a little bit less than 1/4 of 200 minus whatever it is that the average card score is. So I imagine that would be something like 15 points more than the average card. That's all you need to get to, and then this card's worth 200 points. Like, that's how the math works.
Great.
Alright. That's Cthulhu. Now, for the best neutral card, and I do mean the best neutral card, like literally way better than any other neutral card that exists in this meta. You have N'Zoth. N'Zoth, God of the Deep. 10 mana, 5/7. Battlecry. Resurrect a friendly minion of each minion type. 300. So here you have something that's kind of similar to Yogg-Saron, only you have a much less good initial body. But on the bright side, you are resurrecting all the minion types. Nothing has to be corrupted. You don't need corrupted cards. You are just naturally, whatever minion is dying, you're getting a friendly minion of each of those types. So
it's really good.
You're getting a whole bunch of stuff on the board.
Yeah. We just have like random mechs, random demons, random beasts, like just random murlocs all around. So what's the mana worth of like a 5/7? It's like 5.5, right? 5.5 mana. So
well, by turn 10, probably like 5 mana.
Yeah, sure, about 5 mana. So you have to just summon another one of these, right? Have to summon another like 5/7. Can you summon that like in the entire game before this? Yeah. Like there's just so many tribes that you played before that you're probably not really like, because Menagerie was never a thing in the arena before, and you never really noticed it. But you're gonna play Murlocs, you're gonna play dragons, you're gonna play beasts, you're gonna play a lot of those. It's just a stupid amount of stats for 10 mana, and a lot of those are gonna taunt. A lot of those are gonna have rush as well. Just really, really good.
And remember, like, this is why this is so high. If you're wondering why it's high, let's go look at the common cards. What's the best common card neutral? It's a claw machine. That's a mech.
That's a mech.
What's next? A Darkmoon dirigible, probably corrupted. That's also pretty good to have on the board. It also has rush, so you get initiative that turn. What's after that? Oh, a Plague Proto-Drake. That's a dragon. What's after that? Oh, an Onyx Mage Scribe. That's a dragon. Okay, Steward of Scrolls is an elemental, but that's only a 4/4 with spell damage. That's not particularly great, but it's a body,
you get
right?
A free 4/4. Yeah, it's an elemental, right? Like you guys, like, these are tags which you might not have like really cared for before, but you're like, oh wait, some of the best cards just have a tag on them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Fishy Flyer is a Murloc.
Mm-hmm.
There you go.
Yeah, and you may not luck out on all of them, right? If you have a crappy dragon, it may summon the crappy dragon instead of it. But you're gonna fill your board most likely by the time you play this card with just like stuff. It's just gonna be like it's a much better version of like a Nexia, right?
Yeah, it's like a super Onyxia, effectively. Cool.
So that go ahead.
And so there's also just like a ton of bad beasts around. Like you're just gonna draft like bad beasts as well. So there's your beast. So in any normal deck, you hit almost all of the tribes that you kind of care about.
Yep. Okay, let's go to the first class, Demon Hunter, which has the most legendaries, I think. Or no, it only has 2 legendaries. It only has 2 legendaries, like all the other classes this round. Okay, fine. We're just going to go with the lower ranked of the 2 legendaries first, and then the higher ranked one. So the lower ranked one is Il'gynoth.
Il'gynoth.
Oh, that sounds nicer. Il'gynoth is a 4 mana 2/6 with lifesteal, but not really lifesteal, because it also has an ability that changes all lifesteal damage to damage the enemy hero instead of healing you. So it's a 4 mana 2/6 that then deals face damage, like extra face damage, which you're a Demon Hunter, you kind of like, but at the same time, it's still a 4 mana 2/6. And there's only so much you can do with a 4 mana 2/6. So it's an 88.
It's fine. Sometimes you'll like the effect, sometimes you really won't like it, as in you really need to heal. Meh. That's basically it. And you're giving up stats for it, so 88.
Alright, now the good one, the good legendary, is Zai the Incredible. 5 mana, 5/3. Battlecry. Copy the left and rightmost cards in your hand.
Just really freaking good card draw for 5 mana.
Yep, it's 150.
Yeah, that's the way you want to look at it. Really freaking good card draw. Card draw on like a body. So cool, good stuff.
Cool. Let's move on to Druid. Druid, the lower of the 2 cards, is Kiri, Chosen of Elune. It is a 1/9, 4 mana 2/2. Battlecry, add a solar eclipse and a lunar eclipse to your hand. If you remember, those are the 2 spells, the 2 new spells. Lunar eclipse is 2 mana, deal 3 damage, and potentially cost 0 mana if it gets corrupted. And the solar eclipse is 2 mana, copy a spell.
Yep. You're just like getting those 2 spells is nice, but man, you are really anti-tempoing to get them. That's kind of the issue. 109 is fine though, so that's where it's at.
Yep. And the higher of the 2 legendaries is Greybough. Greybough's at a 144. It may be higher. The algorithm just kind of ran out of juice because it can like only calculate so many things. I would not be surprised if actually higher. We're going to start it out here. We'll see. We'll see what happens.
This should be higher. Yeah.
We'll see what happens. It is a 5 mana, 4/6 taunt, and then it has a death rattle that says give a friendly minion death rattle, summon Greybough. So it's perpetuating until you run out of minions on the board. So your opponent needs to get through a taunt to hit, like assuming you don't play this. So it's got two problems, right? The first problem is if you play it on curve and then it dies in one turn, you're done, right? You just had a 5 mana 4/6 taunt that didn't protect anything, which is pretty bad. Not terrible, but pretty bad. This is like Sen'jin level, right? Your second thing is you need to wait until you have something else on board or you can play something else on the same turn. And then your opponent needs to not be able to get through the Greybough with a like direct damage kind of thing. Like it needs to only be able to rush and stuff to hit the Greybough. And then that brings the thing into your other minion, which gets the death rattle, and everything is fine. And because then if they kill your other minion, you would have another Greybough and everything. The next time that you generate the Greybough, though, you're in the same exact situation again, right? So let's say you do get a second Greybough, which is pretty good. I think when you get 2 Greyboughs, you're still not at insane territory because the second one is delayed so much. Let's say they kill the Greybough, it goes on your other minion. Well, now it's your turn, right? So you have to kill your other minion to actually summon the Greybough. So you kill your other minion, now you summon a Greybough, and you play like some other minion. Like there's just so many situations, and at any point this chain can be broken. So I think it might be a bit higher than this, but I'm not sure like how much higher. Like I don't think that it's like an absolutely insane card.
I agree with that. Yeah.
Okay, so that's the Greybough breakdown. Next up is Hunter. The bad Hunter card is 79. It is a 6 mana 4/4 with Battlecry. Summon a minion from your deck. It attacks the enemy hero and then dies.
You're hoping for the tonk. You're really hoping for like the tonk.
You want the death rattles.
Yeah.
But who knows, right? And it's a 6 mana 4/4.
That's basically it. So I think we can all see how it's not great.
Yeah, I'm actually surprised it's so high. But also, you're actually expected to put like a lot of death rattle minions in your deck as a hunter.
Yep.
All right. Next up is the good one in Hunter, which is actually a legendary weapon. Rinling's Rifle. 4 mana 2/2 weapon. Not so great. But after your hero attacks, discover a secret and cast it. So
pretty
that's
freaking good.
2 secrets discovered and casted.
Pretty freaking good.
214.
Yeah. So if you just think of it this way, on the turn that you play it, discovering a secret. So once again, you're delaying the effect of having to draft a secret, and you get to pick one that is best for the scenario, right? You get 2 damage, which is like a little bit overcosted at 2 mana, but sure, 2 mana, 2 damage, and then a secret and then everything after that is just bonus. You get to do it again on the very next turn. You can just see how it's so freaking good. It's so flexible. You can choose the best secret for the situation. On the next turn, you can choose the best secret for that situation. Once again, still have another 2 damage. You get a lot more than you should for just 4 mana.
Yep. Rinling's Rifle. All right, next one you get is Mage. Mage has 2 legendaries as well. They're both bad. The really bad one is Deck of Lunacy. It is 30 points. 2 mana. Transform spells in your deck into ones that cost 3 more. Spells in your deck are better than random spells. These are random spells. Yes, they cost 3 more, but they keep their original cost, so you're technically gaining 3 mana whenever you do draw into them. But they're generally worse quality cards.
Yep. And you spent 2 mana and a card on it, so it's kind of problematic there.
Yep. Alright. Next is 87. 87 is Sayge, Seer of Darkmoon, 6 mana 5/5, Battlecry, draw a card, and upgrade it for each friendly secret that has triggered this game. So it starts out being a more expensive Big ol' Whelp, and then you start drawing more cards each time a secret triggers. How many secrets do you have?
Yeah, that has triggered as well. Also, remember, Big Ol' Whelp benefited hugely from being a dragon in a dragon meta.
Yeah.
So if you remember the score of that.
Also for being like sort of a curve card.
Also for being, yeah, exactly. Sort of a curve card. This is definitely not a curve card.
Yeah.
Like 6 mana for a 5/5. Ooh, yikes. It's still okay. Like it cycles itself. It's an 87, which is meh, it's draftable, but not good.
Next up is Paladin. Paladin has one really bad legendary and one really good legendary. The really bad legendary has 0 points because it falls below the line. It is a 8 mana 7/5. Battlecry. If your deck has no neutral cards, gain Rush, Lifesteal, Taunt, and Divine Shield. Your deck will always have neutral cards, unless you are like, actually you have like 2 cards left in your deck. So it's basically just 8 mana 7/5, which is terrible. Alright. Afterwards, you have the good one. The good one is 168 points. It is Lothraxion the Redeemed. 5 mana 5/5 demon. Battlecry. For the rest of the game, after you summon a Silverhand Recruit, give it Divine Shield.
Good. Very good.
Yes.
Yeah. All right. Good analysis.
Next up, we have Priest. Priest has 2 good, very good legendaries. The slightly less good of the 2 good legendaries is 155. Gahun the Blood God, 8 mana 8/8. Battlecry, draw 2 cards. They cost health instead of mana, which means you could play them on the same turn that you do this. So you could potentially get a huge tempo boost.
Yep.
And next is 175, the Nameless One. It's a 4 mana 4/4. Battlecry, choose a minion. Become a 4/4 copy of it, then silence it. So basically, you're taking whatever ability and death rattle that minion has. And then it loses it because you took it.
Yeah. So there's a lot of things with abilities in this game. So silencing it is powerful. You're not paying much for the silence effect. It's missing a stat, but you're just taking its effect and then silencing it. It's quite good. There's going to be a lot of stuff in this meta that this thing can hit to be good.
Mm-hmm. Alright, next is Rogue. Rogue has 2 basically equally rated cards for its 2 legendaries, 142 and 143. One is Tenwu of the Red Smoke, which is a 2 mana 3/2, so a 2-drop. But also, as a Battlecry, return a friendly minion to your hand. It costs 1 mana this turn. You want to be playing it on a turn that it can return something to your hand, because this is how you can heal and or get some kind of insane battle cries with it.
There's really good battle cries in the meta right now. Or if you just want to use it as a very cheap heal on a minion, you can do that as well. Just extraordinarily flexible.
Mm-hmm.
That's why it's 142. If you want to play as a raptor, sure, you can play as a raptor, but you probably want to use this battle cry to good effect.
And the other one is same score, Grand Empress Shek'zara. It's a 6 mana 5/7, which is decent. Battle Cry, discover a card in your deck and draw all copies of it.
You get to discover. It's not
Yeah.
just draw a card and then draw all copies of it. You get to discover a card. That's real nice.
Yeah, and if you have multiple copies of a card in your deck, it's probably a really good one.
That's true. That's true.
That being said, it's not going to happen that often that you're offered the Discover into a card that you still have multiple copies of, at the time that you play this card. Otherwise it's Discover a card in your deck, which is still really good. That's a Mind Vision. Not quite. Close to a Mind Vision. It's attracting. All right. Now it's Shaman. Shaman has a 1 bad card and 1 good card. The bad card is rated at 50. It is Grand Totem Eys'or. It is a 3 mana 0/4 totem. At the end of your turn, give +1/+1 to all other totems in your hand, deck, and battlefield. You will not have a lot of totems. At least not in your hand or in your deck. You may have some totems on your battlefield, so good luck with that. I hope this guy doesn't die.
Yep. This card is just... You will sometimes have, like, totems. Like, this can be beneficial. The problem is being able to use the stats super effectively because it is at the end of the turn.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right, and the good one is 190 points. Inara Storm Crash, 5 mana 4/5. On your turn, which includes the turn that you play this, your hero has +2 attack and Wind Fury.
So on the turn that you play it, you are already getting initiative. You're already getting just really good effect, right? Like 4 damage split. And if you have a weapon out, oh my gosh, insane amounts of value.
Mm-hmm.
So no downside and immediate initiative from this card.
Yep. Warlock. 1 bad card, 1 good card. The bad card is Deck of Chaos, 0 points. 6 mana. Swap the cost and attack of all minions in your deck.
Did we actually put this in the algorithm?
Yes, this is actually in the algorithm.
Wow, okay. And it actually determined it was a 0. We didn't just say it's a 0.
No, we probably could have, but we actually put it in the algorithm just in case it was a 10 instead of a 0. But it is a 0. It's actually quite negative. Because you're spending 6 mana in a card to do this. And you're swapping the cost and the attack. So
cool.
Let's say you have you need like cards with like high cost and like low attack. It's hard to like kind of get it all together. Like what kind of cards are you looking at that it works, right? And then it only applies to things in your deck and only the minions in your deck. So you then have to draw these cards, which you may not draw. It's not good. And then, there's also this RNG aspect to it. Like so much not good stuff that requires you to put a 6 mana 1 card investment into.
Yep.
All right, next is the good card. The good card is 164. It is Tekadas. It's a 6 mana 8/8. It's a demon. Battlecry. Remove the top 5 cards from your deck. Corrupt your opponent's deck instead.
Ooh. Look, it's a 6 mana 8/8. It's good, man.
Yeah.
We have seen this effect in something like Keening Banshee, right? We've seen it with Fel Reaver. The good thing about this card is that unlike Keening Banshee and unlike Fel Reaver, it's not a continuous effect where, if your opponent sort of tries to stall you, it could actually mill you. For this one, it's just 5 cards. That's it. 5 cards and you're done. There's no continuous penalty here. It's just one time, pay the 5 cards, and you're good to go. And you just get a 6 mana 8/8 demon. Very, very good card.
All right, finally, Warrior. The last 2 cards of this review. We are almost done. The bad one is a 79. It is ETC, God of Metal. It's a 2 mana 1/4 minion, so not really on curve. And then after a friendly rush minion attacks, deal 2 damage to the enemy hero. So its effect is a reach effect. And it's not quite a 2-drop. That's all we have to say about it. And then the good card is Ringmaster Watley. Ringmaster Watley is a 5 mana 3/5. Battlecry, draw a mech, dragon, and pirate. You'll probably have a mech, dragon, and pirate in your deck. You'll at least have 2 of them.
Yeah, they tend to be pretty good. So it's a 148 because you are going to be drawing multiple cards. The problem is it is quite anti-tempo. So there's a give and take here. But mechs are good. You're going to have good dragons if you have them in your deck. Pirate, well...
You will definitely have pirates in your deck.
You will definitely have pirates in your deck, and they will be quite good. So it's a 148, even though you are significantly anti-tempoing here.
And that is Madness at the Darkmoon Faire. All the cards, all rated, and that is it from us. It is now 1:41 a.m. We made it before 2 a.m. I call that a win. Any last words about Madness at the Darkmoon Faire, or I don't know, stuff in general?
Yeah, I would say that we see a lot of good cards. You want to definitely hold off on exactly what you think the meta is going to be in terms of what the best class is, because you just never know for this stuff. It's all in Blizzard's hands. But we do see a lot of very, very high value stuff. You know that. So things that we know are games are going to go for a while because every class is an initiative. Every class has ways to protect themselves. Aggro is going to be tough. I'm not saying impossible, but it's going to be tough unless something weird happens with the offering rates or classes or whatnot. And a lot of classes are going to want to play this prolonged kind of game. Mages want to get to the grand finale, right? Druids want to get to survival of the fittest. And you have some classes that might want to go a little bit faster, like warriors. And whether or not they're successful doing that will depend on Blizzard once again. But we see that Blizzard is definitely not shy about printing good cards. This is what we should expect now. We look at these 300 rated cards and we are kind of in awe of the power level of some of these, but this is just something we'll have to get used to at this point, where Blizzard is not gonna be in the business of printing bad cards because no one wants to buy those.
Yep. I'm not looking forward to a future with more cards like Twin Tyrant and Claw Machine, but hey, like I said before in the very beginning, Claw Machine is a better card for the meta than Twin Tyrant. So
Yes.
it is much smoother and even. The power levels are distributed. It's contributing in several areas. So we'll see what happens with this meta. But I have kind of high hopes and expectations for this meta because of the types of mechanics it's introduced, the types of cards that have come in here that really kind of focus on spreading things out over many turns, on not being too tempo heavy while giving you stuff, and also on not being like too card advantage heavy that you will like never run out of cards. Like this is not the Skullomance meta, hopefully, but there's elements of it. And this is not the super random meta, but there's elements of it. So it's going to be interesting, I think, to be in this meta. But it is definitely one of the highest value metas that we will be in terms of just like good cards, just good cards everywhere. I'm excited to jump in the meta, and we will be releasing this tier list in full Tuesday morning. because we still are finishing some stuff up. If you've been watching the whole video series, you'll see that things have been updating kind of in real time, and they will continue to be updated throughout tomorrow. I am almost certain that literally none of the scores we said today will be the scores for Tuesday morning, but it will be like really, 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 really close. There's a technical reason for why they're not going to be the exact same. I won't go into it, but it's going to all be really, really, really close, except for the few cards that we identified as having to like kind of like do more thinking on. You have any shout outs to give?
All right. So lastly, shout outs once again to our Patreons: Nordoge, Joel T, RV Night Train, Cheng Yin, Eric L, Aaron LS, Dan F, Doug A, Feldingox, Jordan W, Karova, Mathin Carnage, Torjado, Larissa H, 4P, brand new. Thank you so much. Thank you to the mods who were here today. Legendheart, Cass, Alahud, Bossman, Samson. Thank you to all the viewers who are watching live or watching VODs or on YouTube. Appreciate you guys. David Attenborough says, and ZD Man, thank you for all of your help with uploading the videos and for working with Adwicta. Oh my god.
On the tier list, without ZD Man, there is no tier list. So thank you so much, and we really we cut it so close and did so much work for this round. So huge shout out to ZD Man. And getting these scores to us in time for this stream / podcast / VOD.
Yep. All right. So that is it. I would definitely not like to thank Dr. Stein because he didn't do anything. All right. But thank you to everyone. See you in the arena when the expansion drops.
Yeah, we will be streaming every night for a week when the expansion drops. So have a good night, and see you guys at the fair.
All right.
We done. We done.
Dr. Stein, were you here the entire time? Did you do anything? Did you contribute? Stein, don't lie to me. Stein, don't lie. Did you do anything? Were you here? Did you listen? What'd you think? Do you even still play the arena? What do you do nowadays? What's going on? He let us steal grass from him. Is that really contributing? I don't know about that, man. He already left?